Hello everyone and welcome back. In the last video I left off with a choice between building a box for the original carburetor or modifying the engine to fit a different carburetor. Well, at least for now, I've chosen to use the Mikuni carburetor. And here I have the 3D printed intake manifold that I'm going to use temporarily. This is printed out of PETG and the connectors are printed from TPU. Fuel to the carb. This is my first attempt at starting with the new carburetor. I haven't changed the jets, just cleaned it. This came from a 250 two-stroke, so the jetting should be good enough to get me running anyways. Right off the bat, when I raised the fuel tank, it started to flood. So I left the fuel tank down until I got it running. I was planning on solving this problem later, but fortunately it solved itself. Alright, I'm pretty happy with how that runs. It's got a little bit of a low velocity issue at the bottom end, but that's typical of a large carburetor on an engine like this. I should be able to jet that out, but I'll probably have to get it under some sort of load before I can reliably start jetting it anyways. At any rate, I made up the hose between the carb and the supercharger. It's made from a washing machine drain hose with 3D printed ends epoxied on. I've also installed the rest of the barbs and hooked up all the lines to the fuel system. What I'm doing here is I have the pressure bleeding off from the plenum into the fuel system. The fuel tank is sealed, so that way the fuel pressure should be neutralized between the carburetor and the fuel tank, and then gravity should take care of the rest, at least for now. The other line here runs to the carb vent, and then the last line runs to the boost gauge. Alright, another success. You can even hear it smooth out a little bit once I hooked the tube up. It even seemed to make a little bit of boost right off the bat, but that fell off very quickly. At this point I decided I'm going to try gearing up again. I 3D printed a pulley and I'm going to change it, and I realized something's stuck. So I'm back to disassembling and seeing what's wrong. As I suspected, the final drive gear taper lock is slipped again, and it's rammed its way into the back of the case. To stop this, I made up a little spacer and added a new gear with a slightly tighter tapered hole. I also got tired of abusing my arm trying to start this thing, so now I'm going to abuse this drill instead. Work smart, not hard, eh? Alright, I'm getting close. I can feel it. I just got a few leaks here to sort out. The top of the carburetor's leaking, and I gotta dig up some clamps for all these hose type adapters. Looks like being lazy got me again. The 3D printed carb adapter split and broke. Either too much weight or the backfires at low RPM there causing issues. Either way, this kind of forces my hand, and I made up a nice aluminum one. Hopefully this is the last I see this issue. Sometimes plastic just won't do the job. Now to solve the leaking carburetor issue, I've made up a new seal at a TPU that the line runs through, and although it's probably not 100% seal, it should stop enough air that I should be able to build pressure. I also 3D printed a little retainer for the needle as I lost the original clip. To add a little bit more control over my fuel pressure, I added this bleeder control. It's from an aquarium. It's just to slow the amount of air going in so I don't get a huge inrush of air as the pressure goes up and down. I should probably have a check valve in here as well, but I'll see how it works without it. So, aluminum manifold, sealed carb, and clamps on the tube adapters. Should be ready to give it another try and see what I get. If you notice right here, the supercharger is stuck again and it frees up on its own, which is a sign of issues to come. But I wasn't really sure until I went back and checked the footage. So I think I gotta tighten that clamp up a little bit more. Backfire still blows it off, but 2 psi doesn't. So I'm no expert in tuning Mikuni carburetors, but right here I'm adjusting the air bypass, and I basically just close it right in altogether. This is normally used to lean out the bottom end a little bit while having the upper end a little bit richer. Again, this being jetted for a 2-stroke, it's going to be a little bit off running a 4-stroke. But as I said before, I'll have to wait till I get a load on it to really set it up properly. And right about here, the supercharger calls it quits again. I'm suspecting it's still that taper lock. Before this though, for a split second, I saw 2 pounds of boost, which is pretty exciting. All in all, I'd call this concept proven, not without its issues though. I'm probably a hair undersized for the engine displacement, and yet again I've had an issue with the taper lock. But it's given me just enough of a taste of success that I want to continue with this unit. Even though in the background I've been taking what I've learned from all of this and applying it to an improved design that's a little bit more compact and also should give me a higher safe running RPM range, as well as some other durability improvements in the design. It's also a lot smaller physically, so it should allow me to attach it to a smaller engine and kind of match it up to the airflow a little better. Not exactly sure what my plans are yet. However, I'm going to continue working with this unit and engine until I get it to make boost for more than a couple seconds. Either way, I saw about 1.5 pounds of boost. Again, I can't have it under any load, so I can't really pull the throttle for any length of time, and along with a multitude of other issues. But that sort of leads me into what I'm going to do with this engine once it's running. And also, if the supercharger project doesn't work on this engine, I'm going to continue to use this engine for that original purpose. However, I'm somewhat indecisive on this. I either want to put it in a racing lawn tractor that I've already half built, or a mini bike, which I have already almost half built. But at any rate, I'm getting too far ahead of myself, and I'm going to attempt to solve the taper lock issue. Maybe if I have to throw some super glue in there, that might be a quick fix, but it'll be a pain to take apart if I have to tear it apart. Either way, at this point I'm bound and determined to make it run for more than a couple seconds with boost, so that's my plan anyways. But that's about all I got now. But if you've made it this far, I'm going to ask you a favor. If you happen to know somebody who might find this interesting, can you please share it with them, or at least let them know? It'd really help my channel out. Thank you, and have a good one, guys. Take it easy.